My name is Marcus Hale. I'm 36, married to Clara and dad to Sophie, who's 9. Clara's mom, Gloria, hosts a big family dinner every year. The food's dry, the carpet's older than me, and the conversations usually turn into a contest of who can deliver the sharpest, helpful comment. I go for 2 reasons: free food and my kids' smile. Sophie had been excited for days. She spent the afternoon braiding her long brown hair into neat patterns all by herself. When she spun around in her purple dress and asked, "Daddy, how do I look?" I told her the truth, like a princess. She beamed, and that was enough to get me to Gloria's with a good attitude. The house was full, uncles bragging, aunts gossiping, cousins sprinting up and down the stairs. I parked near the shrimp tray and practiced my polite listening face. The only person I kept an eye on was my sister-in-law, Tessa. She's the kind who treats life like a reality show, loud, dramatic, phone always out, looking for an audience. About an hour in, something changed. The kid noise upstairs went quiet. Parents know that kind of quiet usually means trouble. I looked for Sophie, no sign. I asked Clara, who waved me off. "She's fine, Marcus." But the silence kept pressing on my ears, so I went upstairs. I found them in the hall bathroom. Hair everywhere, strands in the sink, on the floor, clinging to the towel rack. My daughter stood in front of the mirror with a shaved head, crying so hard she could barely breathe. Behind her was Tessa, holding electric clippers. Her phone was propped up and recording. Sophie looked at me with huge, wet eyes and said, "Daddy." That's all she got out. Tessa didn't look sorry. She grinned and said, "Oh, don't be dramatic. It's just hair. It'll grow back. This is going to do numbers online. I don't hit people. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I won't lie about it." I slapped the phone out of her hand and slapped her cheek with my other hand. The sound cracked off the tile. Sophie flinched and Tessa staggered back, stunned. I scooped Sophie up and headed for the stairs. Tessa followed, yelling that I'd attacked her. When we reached the living room, everyone turned. Gloria saw Sophie's head and went pale, then red. She didn't ask if Sophie was okay. She pointed at me and shouted, "You useless bastard husband! You hit my daughter!" "The daughter who shaved your granddaughter's head and filmed it," I said. "It was a joke," Tessa said, hand on her cheek. "We were making content." "Content?" I shifted Sophie in my arms. "We're going home." Clara stood frozen, torn between her mother and her family. I told her quietly, "Pick a side." "We're leaving now." After a long beat, she grabbed her purse and joined us. Gloria tried a final blast of control. "If you walk out that door, don't ever come back." I smiled. "Promise?" We left. That night was rough. Sophie kept reaching up to touch her scalp like she couldn't believe it. We let her sleep in our bed. Every time she stirred, I felt her little hand find mine. At 7 a.m., our doorbell rang. I opened the door with the chain on. Gloria stood there with smeared makeup and a shopping bag. She held up a cheap children's wig from a costume shop. "For Sophie," she said. "A peace offering." "It's not a peace offering," I said. "It's a shortcut." Tessa hurt our kid. "You need to say the words." Gloria swallowed. "Please, Marcus. Give my daughter a way to live." "Here's the way. Accountability," I said. "Start by apologizing to Sophie. Then stop protecting Tessa from consequences." She left with the wig. By lunch, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Tessa had posted the bathroom video herself. It spread fast. Comments were brutal. People called it what it was, abusing a child for clicks. A few even recognized the house and started calling Gloria's friends. Tessa texted me, "Make them delete it." I didn't respond. "You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube." That afternoon, Clara and I took Sophie to the police station. Officer Martinez took our statements, saved copies of the video, and photographed Sophie's head. He kept it professional, but I could see on his face what he thought. I told him I slapped Tessa. He wrote it down and said, "For the record," then nodded once like a dad for a dad. Next stop was a child therapist, Dr. Monroe. Her office smelled like vanilla and had stuffed animals everywhere. She talked to Sophie softly, explained that what happened wasn't Sophie's fault, and said, "Adults must ask before they touch your body or your hair. You said stop. That matters." Sophie sat taller by the end. We booked another appointment. That evening, we went to Target and bought hats, beanies, baseball caps, even one shaped like a slice of pizza. Sophie tried them on in the mirror and posed. "How do I look?" Like a trendsetter, I said. She smiled for the first time. The next few days, Clara's family called. Thomas, her dad, opened with, "We can work something out." His idea of working it out was me dropping the case for some compensation. I told him no. Gloria called and cried about the family being torn apart. I told her families are supposed to protect kids, not film their pain. Aunt Rita and Uncle Tony, to their credit, said, "We've got your back." Others tried to stay neutral. I told them neutrality isn't a thing when a child is hurt. Meanwhile, the internet did what the internet does. Tessa was roasted. People stitched her video with messages about consent. A local stylist posted a response about hair as identity for kids. A lawyer posted a video about filming your own crime. Tessa's employer put her on leave. Her husband, Derek, called me asking me to make it stop. I told him I didn't start it. A week later, charges were filed: child endangerment and assault. A protective order barred Tessa from contacting us. Gloria sent another text asking to resolve this privately. I sent her Dr. Monroe's invoice and said, "You want to help? Pay for therapy." School was the next hurdle. Sophie asked if kids would laugh. I told her some might. The ones who matter will ask if she's okay. We emailed her teacher. On Monday, Sophie wore her favorite hat. A couple of kids stared. A few whispered. Her best friend Emma said, "Cool hat," and they walked in together. That night, Sophie said, "Lots of kids said I'm brave." She believed them a little. Court came slow and then fast. Our lawyer told us to be direct and calm. The bathroom video was the only exhibit anyone needed. Tessa's attorney tried to call it a prank gone wrong. The judge didn't buy it. Tessa got probation, community service, mandatory counseling, and a suspended sentence that would become real if she violated terms. The judge looked straight at her and said, "Children aren't props." The protective order stayed in place. Clara cried in the parking lot afterward. Not happy, not sad, more like exhausted relief. "I should have kept her away from them," she said. "We fix it from here," I told her. We drew new lines. No more big family dinners. No unsupervised time at Gloria's. For months, we ignored angry messages. A few relatives fell away. Rita and Tony did not. They came over with lasagna and bad jokes, taught Sophie how to change a tire, and never mentioned the video unless Sophie did. That's family. 6 months later, Sophie's hair had grown into a short pixie cut. She owned it. She gave a short classroom talk on boundaries where she said, "Even family has to ask before they touch your hair." The school counselor told us half the class started using the words ask and consent the next week. Kids learn fast when you give them the right words. Tessa's life changed too. Her online account stayed closed. The video still pops up now and then. The internet doesn't forget. She finished community service sweeping sidewalks in an orange vest. Derek filed for divorce and moved out with their kids. Gloria still sends birthday cards addressed only to Clara. We keep most of them sealed. Thomas texts once a month to ask about Sophie's soccer games and to apologize. I tell him the scores. He's learning how to be useful. We still see Dr. Monroe, fewer visits now. Sophie talks about the day like it happened to a different version of her. She still wears hats sometimes, but mostly because she likes them. The pizza one sits on her dresser like a trophy. What changed the most was Clara. She stopped trying to keep the peace with people who refuse to respect boundaries. She tells anyone who asks that protecting our child came first. She meant it the day she walked out of her mother's house with us, and she means it still. If there's a moral, it's simple. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who respects your boundaries, protects your kids, and shows up when it's hard. The day Tessa shaved Sophie's head, we stopped letting other people define family for us. We chose it ourselves. The next time we host a family party, there will be pancakes, bad jokes, and a sign by the bathroom that says what we should have said from the start: ask first, always, and no clippers allowed. Thanks for watching.